What are micronations? Everybody knows what superpower nations are. They are big, they are powerful, and they are busy in destroying each other's economy. Micropower nations, on the other hand, are very many. They're small, they're cute, they're very nice. Some have excellent products and services, smart people, and they are growing because technology allows them to function almost like superpower nation. I'm delighted to have Amir Waheed, the president of the Islamabad Chamber of Commerce. Very nice of you to join us in Oktara Debates. So, first question I have for you. First of all, congratulations on having such a great, successful transition of the political power and creating a beautiful democratic platform, and also the vision of your leadership that clearly identifies some of the things that Oktara Debates is talking about. First question to you, Amir. What are your challenges in trying to transform the mid-size economy, mid-size businesses within your region, and your future forecast as we go forward? Please give us some thoughts.
First of all, I am very thankful to you. You have given me the opportunity to speak about the mid-sized businesses around the world, especially in Pakistan. Business are very important for every country. They are the backbone of every country. So the SME sector are essential to start business in every country. Like you can say China, India, they have very big SME sector. They are doing a lot in these sectors, and their growth and their economy is lying in their SME sector. So in Pakistan, we are facing a lot of problems in SME sectors. Our SME sector is not yet strengthened, like, because we don't have much technology and we don't have much skilled persons in Pakistan. So we are facing so many problems in mid-sized businesses, because when you have a technology, you can do wonders in every field. So we are lack in technology, and we are facing a lot of things to improve our mid-sized businesses. But in Islamabad Chamber, we are trying to focusing on SME sector, especially in SME. SME sectors are going to be strengthened in a few years in Pakistan, because we are trying to create 4 new wings in Islamabad Chamber. We are giving them capacity building programs. We will build their capacities to improve their skills and their capability, and also their you can say willpower, or you can say their capacity. So in this way, they can improve their businesses, especially in SME sectors. And then we have one research and international research and trade section. We will give them research in different areas in which place they can start their businesses in Pakistan, because in Pakistan people are not doing their business by their own. They are seeing what others are doing. So in so many areas, people are watching other people to start businesses. But unfortunately, these things will not happen, and it will not flourish in future, because one sector, I will give you the example of CNG stations, gas stations in Pakistan. People were making gas stations. Every second person was making gas station, but unfortunately there was a lack of natural gas in Pakistan. Their system was taught rapidly. So we are providing them opportunity. You can start, like you can have a pin. You can start a pin business. You can start a sports business. You can start so many small businesses like in our city Sialkot, people are doing very good business in SME sector. They are exporting more than 10% of our GDP of exports. They are contributing. So they are in sports businesses. They are in you can say surgical businesses, and they are also in cutlery businesses. So in other cities like Wazirabad, they are in cutlery business. In Gujarat, they are in fan businesses, and these are type of small businesses. In Gujranwala, they are in washing machines and other type of businesses. They are doing very good business in these areas. But in our city, like Islamabad is the capital city of Pakistan, people don't have much places. Places are their prices are very much high. We are giving we are supporting our businessmen, like you will have to start your business in like rural areas where land is cheap, labor is cheap, so they can start their business in rural areas of Islamabad and surrounding areas of Islamabad. So these are the things we can
It's very interesting. You have a full agenda, and I know that you have something like 4,000 members in your own chamber, and I know that I don't know if you have seen that in our program how we emphasize the showcasing of the members as a very critical part of progress. How we like we have offered the program to various chambers in Pakistan to put their entire membership onto the digital platform where all their members become visible not only to their own local markets but also to the international market. And we also find that, like when you talk about capacity building is where the economic benefits really materialize, because SME is really a cocoon, is a box, it's a sandbox where people play, but it never becomes an enterprise or an organization unless organizational capacity, mental organization, decision making and all that execution are crystallized and formalized, and they get organized to the point that it becomes beneficial to the economy. And in order to bring those capacity building with your background and with your expertise and your experience overseas, I think that you will find that our think tank and our philosophy of Aktara, we think that the current PTI government and the current Chamber of Commerces have great opportunity to come together and try to come up with immediately deployable pragmatic solution, like immediate, something that can be done immediately. And on that, what they require is a forum or a discussion or a meeting, or maybe even a 10, 12-hour debate like what we did. What we are doing, what are we doing? We're basically trying to raise the bar of our communication and talking to 50,000 people in the industry today. So the idea that if you could take this leadership role and bring other chambers and bring other people together, and then let's say, what are the top 3 things we can do on capacity building and on try to figure out some of the missing links and build them. And I'm sure that you have your thoughts and ideas on it. Please reflect on it.
First of all, I would say that people are not trying to make things like they are not trying things like in export. They are not really exploring export market, because Pakistan is a very big consumer market. Around 200 million people are here. They are not thinking about to export their things. They are making things only for their own country, for Pakistan only. They are not trying to make things for like China, Central Asia, Russia, Turkey, or any other European countries. So they are thinking that they are exploring only local market. They are not exploring their other markets, regional markets or international markets. They should focus on the international markets. We, as Islamabad Chamber, we are providing them a platform. They can have capacity. We will give them their capacity building programs, and we will tell them you can export your things. You can buy your raw material from regional countries very cheap price, and then you can make your things. You can export your things, and your things should be like international standards. So these are the things we will provide them, and we are creating a networking system with them, and we are providing them our regional chambers. We are making them to connect regional chambers with each other. We'll have interaction with our regional chambers, and then we can make things viable.
I think this is a very important characteristics of the micropower nation. Micropower nations have very rapidly developed their own consumer markets, and as a result, superpower nations are having difficulty doing the kind of exports that they were doing for the longest period of time. So now they make their own appliances, their own apparel, their own consumer goods, and they are rapidly creating the novo consumerism for their own nation. And this is where we have always argued that exportability is only one part. The secret is that how do you grow your business, double or quadruple your business in such a systematic fashion that it is profitable not only for the organization, but it becomes supportive of the economic growth of the region or the community. Because the prosperity of the grassroots population is the prosperity of the micropower nation. If their consumer are earning money, then their stores will be busy and people will be ringing the cash registers. And this is what the model is that I think Pakistan is almost headed. And we see that in Turkey, and we see that in India, and we see in other lot of Asian countries. I mean, outside China, which is one of a kind of a country, one of a kind of a leader, one of a kind of a manufacturing factory for the globe. But coming back to Pakistan, coming back to Islamabad, coming back to Islamabad Chamber of Commerce, do you think that in coming weeks or months, now with the new government settled, do you see the possibility that we could enlarge and escalate this debate and discussion at a higher level and try to have a debate in Islamabad on these issues and invite all the top pertinent players and all the trade associations and challenge them that what are the real practical solutions right now, especially if government is already very supportive of this kind of thinking. One of the things I was saying to you, Amir Waheed, that if we talk about Pakistan, we find that the consumerism, the national local consumerism is on the rise, which is the very natural sign of growth and prosperity. Export is not only the main thing. Important thing is how organizations grow. But they can only grow out of the sandbox if they were to bring about new thinking and new understanding that how they can multiply their customer base and then how they can bring technology and so on. One of the characteristics of micropower nations right now around the globe is that they are becoming self-sufficient, they are becoming their own consumer markets, and they're producing excellent quality of goods and services. So that is what hurting the superpower nations, because their exports are being chipped away as a result of that. Coming back to Pakistan, coming back to Islamabad, coming back to Islamabad Chamber of Commerce, my question was that do you see in the coming weeks or months the possibility of Islamabad Chamber of Commerce under your leadership were to table some ideas or suggestions that how 4,000 members could come up with, along with trade associations and whatnot, some specific game plan to how to systematically do capacity building, and how to create alliances, local, national, international, and how to come out of the sandbox and start thinking as a full-fledged, grown bodies so that they could become not only profitable, but they could also become make a good contribution to the grassroots economy. It's just an idea. I just wanted to fly by this.
Okay, first of all, we as Islamabad Chamber of Commerce and Industry trying to make Pakistan a manufacturing country, not a trading country. One thing this is clear from our side, because we are strengthening our research and trade research wing, because when you will have a research in any businesses, you can flourish your business locally plus internationally. This is the one major thing. And then you should have a technology. Then you will, when you will have a technology and your fast technology and up to the mark technology, you can make your business sustainable or compatible. So when you will have a compatible businesses, then you can think you can make your things exports and in local markets as well. If you will not compete with the international market or will not go with the technology right now. Okay, first of all, I was saying that we are trying our members. We are trying to our members as our country as a manufacturing country, not as a trading company, because we are trying to strengthen our members as a technology. They should have a technology and a good type of technology they should have, because if they will not have a technology, they can't manufacture their things cheaper, because when they will because technology is the main tool of manufacturing. Good technology will make things cheaper. If you will make cheaper things, you can compete in local market as well as in international market. And when you will make cheaper things and good things and good quality things for your country and for other countries as well, then they will buy things from you and you can make bring exports to your country. Because in Pakistan we are facing a big trade deficit. We are facing about $35 billion of trade deficit. You should focus to reduce this number, because it's a very big number. From us, we are trying to, because we are importing more than $60 billion things from other countries. So when you will and we are exporting like $25 billion, the gap is very high. So our government policies is to be to produce everything in Pakistan. They are supporting our policies, and we are giving them good suggestions to bring things in Pakistan, manufacturing in Pakistan. Like I will give you the example of pharmaceutical things, raw material. We have only 5 manufacturing of pharma raw materials, and we have more than 600 pharma industries in Pakistan. So we are importing a lot of raw materials from other countries. Islamabad has more than 150 manufacturing units of pharma. So when you will make will make raw material in Pakistan, in Islamabad especially, you can make your reduce your import bill, and especially you can export your medicines very cheap price and competitive price. We are exporting more than $2.5 billion of medicine to other countries, and it will make we are importing like 1 billion of raw material. We are contributing like it's of $1.5 billion. If we reduce this gap and we can export more from this way. So we are trying to give suggestions to our members, and we are giving them capacity building. We are giving them a capacity building session about these type of things, and we are making other researches in other sectors like marble, granite, is because it's a very good sector in this area. It's a SME sector. So we are exporting only blocks to other countries like China and other Italy, but we are not make much manufacturing here. If we'll make these type of things here in Islamabad, we can export more, and we can reduce our import bill as well.
I think it's a extremely well thought out strategy, but I can see the challenge that you try to bring this kind of thinking among small, medium businesses for them to understand that if they are just going to go for local consumerism, quick sale, they are more on the importing side and creating deficit, and they are not expanding. On the other hand, we argue, like in our segments later on today, we will be talking about that how the world is so wide open. So if somebody really has a unique product and service that can be exportable, it is no longer going to one country, but it can possibly go to 200 countries. And we'll talk quite a bit in detail today. But I sympathize with you. I feel the passion, I feel the need, I realize the challenge. I understand this fundamental of economics. How do you train 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 of your SMEs to start thinking the vision you are laying out? And what methodologies are you going to be using? Because otherwise it could take, we could be having this discussion 2-3 years down the road and talk about the same thing. Question is, what can we do Monday morning and say, hey, you are these 5,000 companies. We have these 3 kinds of observations for you. We have 9 methodologies for you. We have these ideas for you. And I think if you take a look at the program that Oktara is laying out on the Expothon strategy, I don't know if you have seen it, the 2 things that we are very, very strong, that whatever we say, whenever we open our mouth, we have a proof, we have a deliverable, we have action plan, and we have immediately implementable methodology. So it is not just talk, it's all action. We are all action. Question is, at what point do you think Chamber of Commerce and the PTI and all that will say, hey, let's go into action, let's try to figure out how to do it. Because what you are talking about, if you go and sit down with the industrialist right now, he will speak something very different. He will say, I'm making this, I'm selling it in the local market, I don't have time to go to and search for new countries and whatever. What I was saying, Amir Wahid, that the average businessman who is successful in Pakistan is very comfortable. He's got a big factory, has got a big house and a big car, and he's very happy. And he's very happy to enjoy the new consumerism because there are more shops and more streets and more people and so on. But we have 10,000 other cities where those goods and services produced in this country could easily be sold and marketed. My challenge is that how do you bring this about to the mid-size economy? How do you give them options so they can see that, yes, capacity building is important, local growth is important, we have to enlarge our minds, we have to enlarge our capacity, we also have to enlarge our export, because our import cannot sustain all by itself. Otherwise, we run into the foreign exchange crisis. So what role you think trade association, chambers, and all these organizations can play in that kind of a dilemma?
First of all, we'll make policy. We'll make new policy with new government has arrived. We'll make a good policy for SME, because when they will give us good policy to strengthen the SME business, like they should give SME in loans to them a very cheap rate. Like other things, they should provide them a platform where they can have good businesses, where they can have small manufacturing systems. The government should provide them all infrastructure there, like electricity, gas, and other utilities like water and or other things people requires there. So when they will have their things there, then they can start their business very good. One thing in Pakistan we are lacking. One factor is education. People of our countries are not much educated. They are doing business like I'm doing business. My father was doing business. My grandfather was doing business. So people are doing business from family's own business. Maximum people are doing their family's business, and now they are expanding and business in their own family-owned businesses. So. Our government should give them a platform to new generation, because our youth is very much talented, and they are very much in IT in Pakistan. IT sector is very good, and especially Islamabad. IT can be a very good
Sure.
business in Islamabad. So we can give them a good platform to enhance their abilities.
I think we have discussed some very interesting points. I'm sure the listeners out there across the nation would realize the effort and the things that Islamabad Chamber of Commerce is doing, along with all the other major chambers across the nation. Amir, last question in conclusion. What is the special message you have for all the people, businesses who are watching you across the nation? A lot of them may be outside your own Islamabad Chamber of Commerce. People who are watching it, what do you think are something that take away, or something that they can take it as the potential positive thing that are happening in Pakistan, and what some of the chambers are trying to do, especially you in the leadership?
First of all, I will give them a message. We are a very loving nation. We are very good people. Pakistan is very good country. People can come to our country very easily. Media is portraying negative perception about our country. We are very positive and good persons. And there is no law and order situation in Pakistan. Very good situation is very good. Everything is good here. And you can come to Pakistan. One thing I want to tell you, CPEC is coming, a very big component is coming Pakistan. A lot of foreign direct investments is coming through Chinese and through other countries of people. You can come to Pakistan, you can invest here very easily, and you can earn a big profit in Pakistan. One thing. And other thing, our youth is very talented youth, and 65% of our country is youth. So we want our youth as an asset, not as a liability.
Amazing.
This thing I want to say.
Amazing. And you think Oktara is doing a great job in the country right now?
Yes. Yes, it's doing very great job, and they are doing wonders. And if these type of things and these type of discussions happens in different walk of lives, like you and other people, we can bring our country in very good position in few months, not in years. In few months, we can take off our country in very good way.
And I think that is what we are seeking, that when will be the right time in coming weeks or months that we can have this discussion with the leadership, your chamber, and few trade association, and table concrete specific ideas on how to transform this sector on a rapid basis. I want to thank you very much. You have been very gracious, and despite any technical linkages, I think the content and the subject matter is very well covered. I will follow it up after sometime in a week or two after this, but I want to thank you very much, and goodbye from Karachi. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you from my side. Thank you.
Linda, I know you have an amazing series of experiences. To a lot of people don't know that you are a pilot, you are a squadron leader of a fighter force, and you have traveled all over the globe, and you have done wonderful things, and you have dealt with very special tasks and high-level performance, and you understand performance. I would like to ask you the question that we often run these days, and that is, how can organization function very precisely like an aircraft, like a flight machine, and how can they achieve that if they were to, let's say, were operational 24/7, like the way airports and five-star hotels do, or in hospitals and pharmaceutical industries work? What are your thoughts of a culture that's slowly encroaching in a 24/7, 365 style of work? What are some of your thoughts?
Often I actually use the metaphor of flying to highlight examples, because most people have been on airplanes many times and they can relate to them with the understanding that aircraft, it's a very operational environment. And you cannot just plan a procedure and do that, because the wind might change, you might get a different kind of weather. And that's very similar to the world of business. We're constantly having, something, enter our picture, or the climate of what we're working on change, or our personnel might be varied and such. And so with the world of 24/7, 365, first of all, it just never shuts down. If you think about it, we're in different parts of the world right now. It's nighttime in one place, it's daytime in the other place. And because of that, the challenge is, how do you hone yourself in an environment that never shuts down to be on your game? When you're flying an aircraft, you have to be on your game, or things can happen, or you won't be able to handle what pops up. In business, you have to be able to handle what pops up. The global world is constantly changing and shifting and challenging us to really be able to perform in a way that is essential to meeting the demands and being able to enable the future to happen. And so what is imperative, like an example from my background, is so key to people today. We get focused on out-of-the-box ideas, as if an out-of-the-box idea is sufficient to solve some of these challenges that we're facing. We need something much more. For example, a war room scenario, it's not meant to just be planning for war. And oh, by the way, business is a lot like a battleground, because you're always fighting with your competitors and everything to get that leading edge. But in that arena, a war room, what it really is about is, how do you solve problems in real time? How do you show up to really make the solutions the right ones, for the right reason, in the right moment, for whatever opportunity or challenge is facing? And so in Quadrability, what we really do is help you up your game, just like you're flying an aircraft, the aircraft of your own business, the aircraft of your own industry, to help you get that focus on how you show up to be on top of all the things that are facing you in real time, so that your thinking is primed to act and react to what is facing you.
It's great, and I think if you were to talk about focus, you would say that focus really translate into operational skills. Operational skills translate into who is doing what and who is trying to do what and how they achieve and how they make decisions. And some decisions are being made for them through the artificial intelligence and through large data and metadata and market conditions and social media and the global place at large. But a lot of that resides with you in the cockpit. So you are really traveling at a phenomenal speed, and you have to make all your decisions synchronize in simultaneous action, in complex thinking, with the speed and agility. And I think this kind of skill is becoming a very important part that differentiates between good pilots and people who really go and succeed.
Absolutely, Naseem. I think one of the things that I learned about focus that is so essential, I learned it as a test pilot. You know, when you really take that step back and look at what's the machine going to do. If you've never flown it before, nobody else has ever flown it before, you need to be able to step into that machine and take it to the limits and to be able to do it with safety, scalability, just like business. And how you do that is you take that step back. In order to take that step back, you have to have not just the simple aspect of focus, but multiple focal points that you can constantly scan in a way that really defines your field of view such that you can act and react before it acts and reacts on you. And so, oh, I'm sorry, I just saw a connection lost. Are we still connected? I'm sorry.
Just repeat from the beginning.
Nassim, that is just so on point to be thinking about focus as the environment of an aircraft situation. It's just like business in the sense that, you know, we're always facing something new. You don't just put an aircraft on autopilot and hope it takes you through all the challenges. The pilot is there, the business leader is there to actually monitor. Maybe those autopilot opportunities give you that chance to think. But when you're talking about focus, what focus really means to me from my arena from being a test pilot is that you have to have multiple focal points. One is insufficient. We tend to want to go, I got my focus. Well, on what? And what else do you need to be focused about? How is your environment actually inviting you to redefine your focus? And I don't mean just once a month, I mean moment by moment. What is your habits, your training, your mindset, your disciplines on how you look at the world? And so part of focus is really evolving your skill for strategic observation, for the chance to strategically acknowledge the world and environment out there so that you can actually co-create and evolve thinking in real time to such a degree that you are adapting and refocusing. So it's not just about focus, it's adaptation, refocus, having the skill and discipline to do all of that in such a way that you're comfortable, confident, and ready to just do what's required as part of your natural state of who you are. And so in quadrability, what we're really focused on is challenging to evolve your way of thinking so that you get these multiple perspectives. Start to invite a thinking style that perhaps you haven't thought about before, that can take you to a new edge, that get you ahead of your competitors and get you ahead of your business in such a way that you're ready, just like an aircraft. It's not emergency when you get there. You're so ready and prepared that you know what to do, how to do it, what to put on autopilot, what not to put on autopilot, how to lead, how to think, and how to build, most of all, your philosophy on how to keep yourself honest, focused, refocused, and changing as the world dynamically evolves. Just like 365.
That's amazing. Now, Linda, you have been advising and working with major leading organizations in so many countries and multi-billion dollar companies. What are some of the most common critical challenges that the CEOs or these owners of businesses or the leadership faces? What kind of challenges they face when it comes to change? Is it they understand change, but they don't want to do it? Or they don't understand change and they just don't know how to do it? And then what kind of role do you think Quadrability or our programs bring it in to make the transition easy?
Change is one of those words that almost doesn't have the right meaning to people anymore. The challenge with change is we think it's something that we must do as opposed to a natural evolution of how we do business. Sometimes we're just changing the way we show up to something. We're not specifically changing the way we do business. We're changing the way we use something, not just the way it is. And in order to focus on change, the number one thing that I see with CEOs and truly leaders at every level, from the top through the front line, is leaders don't take that strategic pause to think. And when they do, they don't know how to think in a way that actually allows them to adapt. They think from a reactive worrying state as opposed to a mixed state where they're looking at all the variables and they're priming themselves to make the types of decisions that they must make, decisions that are truly strategic. Strategy is a word that we tend to just banter about without even thinking about, are we truly strategic or not? Are you tactical, strategic? Are you operational? Or are you just executing a to-do list with a strategy to make that happen? And believe it or not, CEOs are sometimes executing a to-do list with a strategy to make that happen. And so in Quadrability, what we bring is a whole new, renewed capacity to get a leader to understand how can they think in real time? How can they do it from all the dimensions? So that they project trust, so that they invite trust, so that they act with integrity, not just from value proposition, but from every aspect of enabling every challenge to come out to the right place or the optimal place. It's not about perfection, but can you get to the next best place so you can get to the next best place? And Quadrability helps people understand how to do that moment by moment, step by step, just like the real world.
Some people say that what we are doing is 10 years ahead of its time. And we say that maybe we are 10 years late. What we are doing, what are we doing? We are taking the discussion, people like you and I, and another 40, 50 other people, thought leaders in their respective fields, people with experiences and great ideas, and we are having this discussion, and we are making it available right across the nation to 20 to 50,000 businesses and stakeholders of the market. What are we doing? I think this is an example in live, real drama unfolding as change. This is a change that we want to bring, and we want this change to cascade in the minds of the business community. We want this change to cascade to the people who are responsible of making administrative procedure, political policies for the betterment of the economic conditions, the grassroots prosperity of the business. This is all about change. And I think sometimes people think that change is hard, but I have a feeling, and I always say, that if you really offer them some turnkey solution, if you offer them the right passages and pathways, humankind, the mankind is smart enough to recognize, and then adaptability becomes a natural process. This is what we think. But Susan, you may have some other ideas.
Adaptability and change, it feels hard to people because they don't give themselves the space to do it. They don't take the opportunity to take the first step. If you just focus on how to get that first step going when you don't know how to get started, or actually reaching out in a way that can bring the answer to you, you become a rapid prototyped learner in such a way that your learning processes are evolving and evolving and evolving, so that the solution is something that kind of unfolds before your eyes. What we do in Quadrability is we get that muscle memory energized into how you show up to do that, something that is lost from us. We're so able to do that naturally when we're babies, and yet we have a way of just kind of beating that out of ourselves from all the things that we do and think that we have to do in such a way that when we actually have to use it, it's not there for us. So in Quadrability, we remind ourselves of what we know how to do, how to build that a sense of how to show up, how to think about it. So when you leave Quadrability, it's not just something you're doing in the room, but it's a new transformed part of you is so freshly invigorated that you're able to act on it. You never want to forget it. You can come back and have that experience mentor you and how you take it to the next stage and how you mentor people. And so the value of credibility, it's not just a change experience. It's a prototyped experience in such a way that you're constantly being triggered and energized to think about the right decisions for this time period that we're in right now. It's far beyond just having a discussion. Discussions are great, but true learning environments that are focused on globalization, business engagement in such a way that you're really challenged to be the best of who you are coming to the crisis situations and everything that are facing you with confidence and conviction. That's what this program process is about.
That's amazing. That's so nicely put together. Linda, thank you very much. And we will definitely continue our discussion as we go along. Thank you, and bye for now.
Bye for now.